Hey, good morning, good morning. What's up, my crew? What up, my dogs? It's 6:32. It's October 16th. It is hump day. It's Wednesday. You know what? You have so much sports on that it feels like, it could be a Thursday or Friday. But anyway, hopefully everyone's feeling well, getting your morning process started. Got my iced coffee, feeling good. Drank my water this morning. Was in my sauna for a good 30 minutes. Got a good 30-minute sweat. Was in the ice barrel today. Today was ice barrel cleaning day. And, looking at what I have on, yes, it was one of those days where you kind of had to measure your commitment to positions. It was one of those days where, things have been kind of slow and steady and they shook the tree a little bit, but rightly so. Some people are like, hey, Red Dog, did you see that bearish engulfing candle and the spies and the Qs? I'm like, I hear you. That's why we had some hedges on, but we're still not even at the 8-day moving average. That's how elevated we were. What do I mean by that? Well, you take a look here at the chart of the spies. Although this candle was kind of bearish and a little overpowering, all it was after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, and look where the 8-day was. So every now and then, you got to be able to, take a down day, and that's why we use a tier system. And I actually made money yesterday. I was like, holy cow! Usually on a day like that, I lose a bit of money getting out of things. And for me, what happened was I was short. I started shorting the 582 calls. On this day, I was figuring like 1, 2, 3, 4, I could do it. And then on Monday, I added to it. I shorted more. I shorted the 584s. I didn't short in the money. I wasn't being a casa. I was trying to be just a little strategic by fading. Sometimes I used to have like 10 positions on and short the spies. And then when you go up, you short more. You sell some of your positions and you come in, you buy your hedge back, you buy some positions, and you keep managing the process. I've been pretty much trying to do that since here, but instead of doing that, what I do is I usually go out 2-3 points higher and I sell the strike for like $1.20. So this way I have room to there and that I can collect that. And if it doesn't go above, I keep it. And if we go below, it helps, But listen, sometimes it gets crazy. Like you guys all know, I think half of Wall Street, did the same thing right here after that V bottom on August 5th. Okay. Started shorting a little bit into this area and got their clock cleaned. So anyway, yesterday was a decent day. So what now? What now? Who cares, Red Dog? Who cares about the past? Well, anyway, at this point, you have yesterday's low 578.54, which is about 7 points below the high. Here is your 8-day. Right now the spies aren't bouncing back much. It's up a whole 28 cents. The world is a little bit mixed. There's not a lot going on in Europe. Europe is still, just kind of mixed. And then you have what's it called? China hasn't really bounced much yet. It's funny how it's got to go straight up and straight down. I haven't started personally accumulating yet, but I got to believe that at some point into here, if you miss this move, now you have, by the way, look at an island top like that. What's this low? This is 30.97. At some point, if you have the bandwidth or the capacity, or you just want to, I would think you could be a buyer down to, somewhere like this is now down. This gap's already on its way to get filled. So, into this area, you would think it's going to be viable. They put a lot of money to work, and they're not going to just let all this go to waste. If you remember here on the weekly chart, I told you about the FXI. I'm like, guys, it went right to my target. Isn't that cute? Right to 37.50. Some guys made decent money short there. So now you've come in a bunch. So, what's this high here? This is 29.53. So I got to believe that, if you wanted to get some kind of exposure, to China, you could be buying the FXI into this pullback area. But that's if you want it. Everyone's going to stop talking about China. It's going to become uninvestable again, and then it's going to go higher. Anyway, so with that being said, you go back to what we were saying. Let's go to the Qs. The Qs had a pretty bearish day. Okay, but again, if you put it in perspective, look where we came from. So bottom line is, how do you switch gears? Okay, I use sell rules. I'm going to post the sell rules later. What are sell rules? Well, sell rules are you trim into some strength, net money. It goes red, you reduce, and if you happen to break below a prior low, that could change things a little bit. But again, but by the sides of this move, you can't take it too. You can't really switch gears too much. You can clean things up, but all sometimes it does is it gives you time to rebuild. So what is yesterday's low? This is 488.72. Here is the 21-day. I would think if the market's going to be any good, we hold this kind of area. But again, yesterday was your day to clean some things up because, it changed a little bit. Let me say hello to some of my dogs from around the world. Yes. What happened yesterday, I actually, I've been in Nvidia and I've been doing pretty damn well with Nvidia. And remember I said yesterday, I did not love the setup. I'm like, it came too far, too fast. There was some news out there about restrictions on Nvidia chips and AMD chips. And right here, okay, if this was going to be any good or just hold up, it should never have broke 136.50. I came in long Nvidia and I came in long options. And when Nvidia went green, I was like, this is like a reflex. I'm like, I'm getting out. I'm like, it had such a big move and I'm active and just doesn't feel right, doesn't smell right, et cetera, et cetera. So I got out going green and I just salvaged the rest of my calls and I waited. And then we got down to right around the 8th day. I'm like, now what I'll do is I'll accumulate some 140 calls for next Friday just to take the stress off. And it's going to take some time to rebuild. So this is a pretty bearish candle. And now we see what goes on here with Nvidia. How much time is it going to take to rebuild? What kind of bounce back will it have? At this point, though, this is gone. This is this gap is gone. Goodbye. So now you could kind of put like the 50% retracement area. So we'll see what kind of bounce. If Nvidia does not bounce, just say, back towards this 133.60, this is if you're plus some people might be like, hey, Red Dog, I'm shorting Nvidia on a bounce. Okay. So if that's the case, 133.66 is an area, 133.60-ish. So, that's a spot. And then this low here is what? This is 136.30. Okay. Now this high is some people are like, hey, Red Dog, we got a double top in Nvidia. Okay. You could say that for now. But, so now what you do is you want to kind of, actually, this was the low here. This low was what? 128.74. That's our point of reference now. So you got to change. The trade changed. It went from trending day by day, buy a dip, roll up options to, hey, they shook the tree a little bit. So it started with the chip restrictions. And then obviously, ASML kind of came out, and screwed up and somebody might have scraped them or whatever it did. I'm kind of happy they did. Because you know why? It happened intraday. So we were able to adjust our positions intraday versus, having to figure out what to do overnight. So anyway, for now, resistance 1, resistance 2, this is your low. What's Nvidia doing now? Nvidia is bouncing back a bunch, okay, $1. So 132.55. So if you're saying you're going to short a bounce, this would probably be a decent spot. And then, hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get an H-cell set up here. I'm just giving you a bunch of different options, a bunch of different ways to do it. Let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world real quick. All right, let's bring this up. Let's see what everyone's doing. Nvidia, please. All right, just did a video. Good morning, Mark. What up, Space? IBIT, Bitcoin is so strong. Yes, I am buying dips in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin, as of a week or two ago, became my focus on Friday. It ignited. I added a lot. I think that we're going to have a fast and furious rally that's not going to be letting people in and this and that. By the way, this you could see all these people probably more on YouTube than on Twitter. I did buy, I bought the 140 calls for $1.30 yesterday, just in case, all of a sudden the ASML meant nothing. We've seen this before too. Honestly, I bought Nvidia dip. Okay. Marco says, good morning. Dana Banana. Who's Dana Banana from Minnesota? What up, Dana Banana from Minnesota? Anyway, Yankees, Mets. It's fun. Anyway, so let's move on. So, the semis might need some time. So I am not long Nvidia. I bought some 140 calls into weakness only yesterday for like $1.10 just to have on, and we'll see. But it's going to be important to see what goes on here. Some people are like, hey, Red Dog, well, it's finally IWM time. Well, okay, if you look here, this is the IWMs. I was on with Liz Clayman last Wednesday, and I said buy some IWM calls. Some people did it for Friday. Some people did it for the following week. Some people did it for Thursday. It all depends on how you did it is how you did. What did I just say? Anyway, it did hit 25.50 if you did it into that move on TV. Yes, a TV personality gave you money to do. But anyway, with that being said, it's been in this range now for a while. So who knows? Maybe semis take a break and some money rotates here. If you look more at the weekly chart of the IWM, it looks pretty good. I've shown this weekly chart a bunch of times, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's above the 8-day on the weekly. You have 225, 226. Hey, maybe the end of the year, the following wants to do a little bit of a run into the 232, 244 area on the weekly. So I actually don't have any exposure. I have some small cap stocks, but I don't have the IWMs on. I did buy a lot of XBI, which is the bios, which don't look great, but look fair. If some people like Red Dog, I still think this is a big overall cup and handle pattern, which it does look like it. Here's your cup. Here's a big upper channel. It's in the mid. I'd rather buy it here than wait to be buying this 103 breakout. So I bought some 103 calls, a little bit lower, I'm gonna be honest, for November 15th, which gives me a month, and I'll trade it. So that's an idea. It's an idea. Put it on. What you got to lose except for some cash. Anyway, I like the bios just in case. Yesterday I did tell you not to buy Goldman Sachs up 20, and they did sell it down. Not a big deal, but again, sometimes if they give you the move prior, the people are, well, I thought the earnings were great. I'm like, well, look what happened prior. So now anyway, maybe Goldman Sachs needs to hold above here. Morgan Stanley's coming out with numbers today. Anyway, not the biggest deal. You just have to, again, that's Wall Street. Sometimes, things happen prior and then they sell into it. They did that with Mr. People like Red Dog, what the hell happened to Mr.? I'm like, well, Mr. broke out well before Bitcoin. So it was, they squeezed the shorts prior. And then when Bitcoin finally got going, they sold Mr. It's cute. They don't want everybody to make money. You got to learn the game. So anyway, what did I do yesterday? I actually bought some options in Mr. yesterday. Which ones did I buy? I bought the 210s for November 1st, thinking that, hey, if this rally in Bitcoin is going to continue through October into Thanksgiving, this is not going to be the high in Mr. So into this pullback into the 8-day, I didn't buy Mr. I bought the options because Mr. can get crazy. I'd rather buy the IBIT. I'd rather play some of the miners and do that. So anyway, I'd say into this zone, if you want to go out a month, you could buy the 210s, the 220s, and I think you'll do just fine. IBIT became one of my biggest positions on Friday. And that was on this day. Why on Friday? Because look at this igniting candle. Look how it took back all the moving averages. So for me, that was like, all right, it's go time. Remember I taught you guys what go time means? Go time means you train your brain that knows what it's going to do when you execute. My go time is every morning in the ice barrel. It doesn't matter how cold it is. You're going in. It's go time. And then your brain feels good. You rinse out everything else. And yeah, you could do coin. You could do a bunch of those. Coin could catch up. But anyway, so what's IBIT doing this morning? Look at that, up 30 cents. So here's IBIT. So try and buy dips. Try and stay with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have options yet. Otherwise, I'd be loading up on the 40s or something like that. So that looks good. This I would buy dips here. Mara is nothing great yet. For some reason, they're not letting the miners go. I did buy Mara calls on Friday, made good money selling it to strength, and then I rolled some higher. Still, if Bitcoin's going to get above 70,000, they're going to have to let this damn thing go. So I would continue to, to position in just some options. Don't let it drive you crazy. This was a better miner play. But, this because it has AI features, and I don't know, I'm not going to lie like I know the specifics. All I know is that my friends who manage big institutions were like, if you want a miner, this is the one. And we started buying. Remember, I had the open house. We were buying this around $10. Well, it hit 1342. I'm still in there. Let it rebuild. And I do think this will head higher, probably to the $17, $18 range. So this is a better miner, CORZ. And some guys like this other one, Wolf. It doesn't look great, but I bought some options here. Maybe this gets better. You can look at it on the weekly chart. What does it look like? The weekly chart, this looks pretty good. Look where this was. So if you want to do a little bit of your own work on TeraWolf, it is a miner. It has AI properties. If Bitcoin's going to continue, why can't this thing, take out this 650? This looks pretty good on the weekly. On the daily, it's like, but I would write this down. I didn't know this name either a week or two ago. But that's the beauty of the business. You can find some new things, and it looks a little bit better technically. And anyway, it was just a 542. So maybe do some work on it. I had no idea what this thing was. I still don't even know the symbols. OKLO, and look at that. This nuclear SPAC that Sam Altman's in charge of with Kathy Woods, and it's nuclear this, that, and PS. I bought it here because it was a nice chart on the filter, sold some, and then I saw the news the other day. And I'm like, oh, I'm loading up. And then that happened. Now it probably needs a little bit of time, but I would think keep this in your go-to list. So some people like Red Dog, usually you have the same go-to list. You have Mag 7, you have the semiconductors, you have the sectors, and then I bring in and out names that come in on the move. And this is on the move, so it's something that, I'm going to focus on. Now that we're in crypto October, I have other things in crypto land that are on my note and my go-to list, besides in Apple that was kind of like a pain in the butt yesterday. I came in long Apple. I was long all last week. It was pretty quiet, and then I sold some strength, and now we'll see what happens here. Some people are like, Red Dog, it's a double top, 237. I don't think it'll be a double top, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's slow here. It was what, 232, 37. So let's put that in. 232, 37. You have to manage your positions. You have to use sell rules. Okay, like if you were long coming in yesterday, why wouldn't you trim into strength and then hold some and then let it rebuild, etc. All right, listen, 648. There's not a whole lot going on today, so don't overtrade. Let the market prove that that yesterday's candle is just a day in the life that took back a little sediment and just wanted to retest the 8-day. Oh, Dash, yes, Dash. I bought a lot of Dash yesterday into this dip, and I still love it. And I bought some options for earnings, and it's pretty interesting to see, like, this too. The first time they shook the tree up a little bit in here. You have to have really good conviction to do that. I waited. First, I waited to 146, and then here, and I saw that the volume was very light. I feel like the regular players just said, hey, let's let all the little Schlockstein guys get stopped out, and then once it hit a low, they walked it up. So I still think Dash is going to be something you want to have into earnings, and our earnings are, October 30th. All right, guys, I got to jump. I got a lot to do today. Go Mets, go Yankees, go something. Have some kind of thing you're doing. Go you. Go you. Root for yourself. I saw an interesting video this morning. Why do you got to root for everything else? Root for yourself, right? Only you could provide for your family and do things you got to do. You have to build the mental toughness for go time and execute. So root for yourself. And you want to root for everyone else. Don't be jealous. No jealousy anywhere else. I live in goddamn Short Hills. I'm in like the 1% of America, but I'm like the bottom 95% of Short Hills because they all got, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But I appreciate their gorgeous $10 million, $20 million homes. I'm like, wow, hopefully you worked for this and didn't just inherit it. No, but you're like, hey, this is friggin' nice. Never be jealous. Just appreciate things that you have, and hopefully your friends share them. And if your friends are a bunch of jerks, get new friends. I'll see you later.